So the partner portal has documentation that helps you in customizing Valo. So you can either browse through the product documents and go through there, but we've also um, highlighted a couple of important documents right here on the front page. So when you look at under the title I want to, there you have under Deliver Valo, we have highlighted the kind of the major documents for the installation and customization. So here we've got the link to the setup instructions, both for Office 365 and SharePoint on-prem, then a couple of Excel workbooks to gather the information from the customer, and then let's have a look back at the gold level. So here it was about the information architecture and workspace templates. So these topics are covered in the document called How to Modify Valo Information Architecture. Then the branding with the visual branding tool is explained in detail in a separate document called Valo Branding Instructions. And the topic of today's session, the hardcore coding stuff, is in a further document called How to Extend Valo. And so now I will let Tommy continue from here. So
I will start sharing my screen. I know Juha is referring like hardcore coding and stuff, but as a member of Valo development team, we are trying to make everything as easy as possible for the developers and for the installation people. So, of course, this is the hardest level you can get with the Valo extension and installation stuff. But with this new release of Vale Partner Pack, we have really made a lot of changes that it is easy to make your own, as easy as possible to make your own extensions with the JavaScript and also in the C# code side.
Okay, so I will just stop my screen sharing from here.
Yeah, I will do my share.
By the way, if anybody has any questions, just feel free to type them into the chat window, so we will address them whenever we can.
Right.
All right, so go ahead.
See my screen. So yeah, I'm Tommy Tavela. I'm architect developer from the Valo team, and today I'm going to show you a little bit how to extend Valo. I will show a little bit about the new partner pack, what I just mentioned, the 1.12. What's the special things about this version. Also, I will show you then how you will add your own JavaScript customizations to your Valo Intranet, and also I will show how to extend the Valo core component to add your own customizations. With this presentation, I will use this document, how to extend Valo, as a guide. So then when you are ever watching this document, maybe you will see some, you can maybe even watch the webinar later on with this document. But first, like here is said, I will show the new partner pack. Then I will a little bit go through how to add your own JavaScript. Then we get the area of how to extend the core Valo. I will show a sample of that. And then a couple of minor techniques I will show. And okay, so let's start. I got my Windows machine ready here. So this is my environment running in Azure. I have copied the Valo Partner Pack release 1.12. So now when we open this, everything looks more or less familiar compared to the earlier version of the partner pack, but we get this one new folder called custom. Before, when you wanted to add your customizations, you were adding those same things with the mixed with the Valo core files. But now we have created a new folder which consists 3 subfolders. The first one is branding. The branding means all your JavaScript styles, whatever you want to add to the SharePoint as an asset, you add them here. I have already, for my demo, I have added one custom JS file here. But for example, if we watch the English template, you will see that if you have your own custom list templates, if you have your own custom page layouts, web parts, you will add them here. They are all empty, so they're like the structure is already there waiting for your own add-ins. So if we go and check now this document here, I will go more through about this. So the first folder is the extension. So here you add all the C# code. It also consists of a ready-made project for you, so you don't need to create anything by yourself. You just open the solution with the Visual Studio and add your code, build it, and copy the file next to the Genesis core, and that's it. Your extension is made. In the branding folder, like I just showed you, you add your list templates, you add your page layouts, you add your custom web part files, and your own web templates if you have those. And then there is the files, JS, CSS, images, you can add here. And then we also have the resources. This is where you place your custom Genesis XML. So, and how to get started with, I think the best idea is that you copy the pre-made Genesis XMLs here, and then you made your changes there. I think it's the fastest way of doing it. In the demo, I will show how I have done it. Okay. The most thing what you normally do with Valo is that you probably create your own web part. All the clients, they have more or less their own one web part that is missing from Valo, and they have their own needs. Mm-hmm. So like in Valo, we do all our JavaScripts and web parts, they are just JavaScript and script editor web parts. So only thing what you really have to add is the JavaScript file. So let's go to the first demo of this webinar. So what we need now, of course we need a SharePoint site. I have here one SharePoint site. The name is Valo Extended. This is not now looking like Valo, but this is just to make everything faster. So I will use this to show you how to provision your own extensions to a SharePoint site. So that will be our base where we put everything from the project. So the first task, what we need to do, we want to add a new JavaScript file and inject it to our site. So what we need to do, we need to go to our custom folder, we go to our branding folder, we go to our files folder, and here you add your JavaScripts, whatever you have. We have one. We have this custom JS. I will open it here in the Visual Studio Code, for example. And I will save. So whatever, this is very simple. And it doesn't have to be more extreme than this, just to show you the simplicity of this tool. So whenever I inject this file to my site, we will see in the browser's console, it will say hello partners. Okay. So now we have the file, but that's not enough. We need to add this file to our Genesis because this is new. Mm-hmm. So we open our customer Genesis file, which is in the branding resources folder. So I have created a new file. I copied this from the pre-made and made my changes, and I rename it like Genesis customer. So, and I open it here. One thing to note also more, always copy this Genesis XSD file, schema file, because you will get intelligence when you are editing it with the Visual Studio. So what we have here, this is now simplified Genesis. But what we need to do first, we need to add this file to the SharePoint site. And the other thing is we need to inject it to the page that it gets executed. So it's all here. I can show you also the when you use the schema, you get this nice intelligence. So it's all like it's very important to have the XSD file with you when you are doing your changes. So okay, so now two pieces, the file and the Genesis. Okay, so then we are ready to add all these features to the SharePoint site. I will execute the Valo Genesis manually. You can do it like this, or you can use the installations tool to do it, the other PowerShell script what we have. So starting this now, it will ask everything. This is probably familiar for everybody. So I have already made this site collection ready for me, so we don't spend any time. All right, let's do one thing more. Okay, now you can also pay attention. I'm using my self-made tool here. It's called SharePoint Editor. It's a Chrome extension. But with Valo, we have this one property in each page. So if you already have this property in your site, you cannot install Valo again to it. But as this, when I'm like practicing how to extend Valo, testing my things, you just need to go to the site and remove this Valo template property here, like this. So now we will be then ready to run our script. Because as you can see from here, it's saying existing site already have Valo installed. And this happens because we have this one property there to avoid like errors. So let's do it again. Let's see. So now we accept that site already exists. Now it's provisioning, it's doing some other things too, but let's consider on those. But soon you will see that it's adding files. Here it says adding custom file and also processing injections. So now when we go to this site, we refresh it. We can check from the console here, from the developer tools. It's saying hello partners. So our modification is now already in SharePoint. With this same tool, we can check that the script is injected. So we can see it's all here. So simple, try your own things. So no biggie in there.
Cool. Looks
yeah,
easy.
it is. We have. Yeah. It's been always easy, but we haven't really done the documentation or this folder structure, which is now very easy. One thing also to note in here, we have this folder structure. Is this that by the default, when you are provisioning files, it will first, the Genesis will first check this custom folder. For example, if you have the same, let's say like Valo CSS file, if you add that CSS file to this custom folder, and you don't need to change anything in the Genesis XML, it will copy the Valo CSS file from the custom folder and not from the original files folder. This is just if you need to use the same names in the JS files or CSS files.
Okay, now there's a question online. The question is, does testing your own custom JS require removing the managed property every time? What you just did, I
Yeah, well, the thing is that if you want to test the provisioning, but you can also develop straight in the browser your own customizations. But if you need to provisioning this, then you always need to remove that from the site. That's true.
Right.
But in my case, if here in the Valo, this technique is only used when you are really installing them. There is another ways to develop in the browser, much faster ways.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. In the documentation, we have more deeper sample where we are also adding like the web part in the page. The logic is the same. So instead of using like console log, in this case we are using the Riot sample, which is doing a simple Riot web part. And here is the same what we just saw. In the branding files, we have the file in the page, then we do the injection. And what was missing from my demo was how to even then add this web part to the page. All right. Okay. And about the third-party add-ins, Valo doesn't restrict anything, so you just do your normal manual installation of your third-party add-ins.
Yeah.
Install it from the catalog or like upload it to the app catalog. No?
Yeah, I guess that's the philosophy of SharePoint, and we want to be aligned with that.
Yeah.
So the administrators won't want to get, let's say, a new component from the store or something, and obviously we don't want to restrict that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we have the custom branding section. We have had, I think, we have document about this.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so that's why I invited Olli into the session just to have a brief chat about this. If I'm not able to say everything, all the details. Olli, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello.
So Olli is the UI specialist of the Valo team. So yeah, maybe Olli, if you have the style editor open there, if you could just give us like a very brief 1 minute tour on how to use it.
Yeah,
just,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just share my screen. Okay, I have it open, but I'll just show how I open it. So we don't have any link for the style editor anywhere in the Valo, and that is because it is kind of dangerous tool, and you can break your look and feel if you use it and you don't know what to do. So all the colors and logos and stuff you can change from the lightsaber. But yeah, I'm using this script from the console in Chrome, which will launch the lightsaber, but you can also make your own link to somewhere in the intranet. But this is all explained in the actual document of the branding.
Yeah, and also maybe I want to add that at least for now, the kind of the main audience for this tool are you, the partners, and we're not promoting it so much for the end customers yet. I know that some customers are already using it. We've nothing against it, but we wanted to at least spend a couple of months like testing it and making sure that it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some shortcuts to the basic SharePoint features, such as changing fonts and logo. These are just like links to the SharePoint sites or pages. But this is the main feature, this edit colors page. And here you can see the view of the like 5 key colors of the Lux UI. And once I change these to some other values, I can just show how easy and quick it is to do some like proof of concept to a customer. So I'll just set that to blue, and text color is fine. If you don't change these will be as they are now. So I'll leave this blank so it can be white. But yeah, background color can be white. And yeah, I'll just show what this does for now. There are other options, but if you change those 5 key colors, you can like show something quickly. I'll just refresh the page. Actually, it did the changes, but it's kind of several changes, so I'll just do some bit more noticeable. Here you can see the colors have been changed for this at least. I don't know if someone else is changing this also, and that's why it didn't save those my settings. But yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Let's have a look at the advanced options we have.
Yeah. So once you actually do your customer project, this is the like you have to go into details on what you are going to change, and you have like every Valo component here that you can change colors of. And this is not live yet, but as a new feature, you can also change your mobile editor, mobile app colors in the future version.
Yeah. So the mobile app will take these 2 colors from here, from what you define here, and I guess it will also take the logo from the site. So
yes, that is also possible to change.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has its own save button. But if you have to do something else besides colors, you can just paste your custom CSS here. So you can do pretty much anything in this window as far as styles go. And if you like to do your styling in your own sandbox, and you just like to export it to customer infra, you can do that as well. So I can just export and import.
So you would inject your custom CSS into that window, and after that you would click export styles, and it would create the CSS file that you can then import somewhere else.
Yeah, you just copy what is pasted here and use that for the customer environment.
Great.
But yeah, I think that is pretty much it.
Yeah, this was a great overview. Thank you very much, Olli. Let's proceed to
no problem.
other topics.
Okay, this also gave me good time to prepare my next demo, which is a little bit more advanced than the JavaScript part. Now let's just share my screen. Alright, so this is now how you can extend the Valo core component. We have made a couple of extension points. They are in the Valo Genesis with the core when you are provisioning site, Valo Intranet. So you can add your extensions there. We got some points here. So like before site collection is provisioned, and also after Valo has been provisioned, and also after each site has been provisioned, you can run your own code, and also when your custom list is provisioned, you can again attach your own code. And the same thing is with the workspace extensions. So one extension point is to run code when the workspace creator starts, when the site is provisioned but not the template added, and this is when the whole workspace is created. You can run your own code, and also this is good if there is some errors. You can also attach there your own custom logic. What happens there? I think this is very good choose to.
Yeah.
Somebody might have some tools where to report the problems and stuff. So
yeah, and I've heard of a lot of real life scenarios where partners are using these, injecting stuff into the workspace provisioning. For instance, some customers might need an AD group created every time you create a workspace or something like that. So this is where these extensions kick in.
yeah. All right. So I will now show one sample. It's going to be simple, but with this sample you will get the idea how things go. So back to the partner pack, custom folder. So the resources was for I will recap a little bit, for your custom XML files. The branding, you put your JS files, your web templates, your page layouts, all that stuff, what gets provisioned to the site, you put them here. So then the third one was this extensions project. So like I said, we already have like pre-made project for you. You just open this project. I got it opened here. In the Explorer, you will see there is a couple of projects. There is a Genesis extension, which is open here, and then there is the workspace extensions. Quite easy to understand what's the point. So Genesis for the provisioning of Valo Intranet and workspaces, you add your code here. Also, we have done some like pre-made code, which means that the customization points what I just described in the document, it doesn't get more simple than this, that there is just add your code here, and that's how you then do it. So this will really speed up the process of making your own customizations to this project. So here you can see the points, the post, the pre, site provisioned, and then the list provisioned. So I already added some code. This is quite simple, but still. So each time a list has been provisioned, we will get the list instance, the list entity, and the client context of the current process. I will take the list. So if I now provision a list, it has another name, but when that's done, I will modify the name of that list, and it will be modified from the extension. I will update the list like normally and then execute a query to really upload it to the SharePoint. Also added some logging, so this will log to console what's happening. So first we will say here like, okay, we are getting in, and here, okay, we have done our modifications. So quite simple stuff. So what we do then, we build the project, and we will get a DLL out. So let's go to see that file. So it will be here. Is there a question in the?
They ask, yeah, there's a question. So the question is the logging done to the SharePoint ULS log?
No. This is just to the console window to see the logging. In I consider in the O365 you don't even do that, but maybe on-premise version that could be possible, but at the moment, but this is good, you can create your own logging system there also. So if you got your skills, you can add your own custom logging which will log in the ULS logs in on-premise versions.
From the console.
from the console. You can add here basically whatever logic you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was here. So after you build your code, of course, you get some DLL out. So our customizations are now here. So I will copy the DLL, and this is there is a couple of manual steps what we need to do. So we need to copy that file next to our Genesis application. Okay. I already made some changes here, so I have this here. Normally you don't have this extension file here, but now I will paste this new version. Okay. Things are not going to happen now. We still need to modify the config file. But I will show you now, we have now made our extension. Now we want to create a list, okay? And I have made some changes here in the Genesis. While only did the demo, I added here a new list. The title of the list will be list from Genesis XML, okay? And I want to provision that now to my demo site. So what I do, I open the PowerShell, and I will execute Valo Genesis. A lot of typing. Alright, we accept that there is a site already existing. As you can see now, it's just looking normally. It will say it created the list, and the name was list from Genesis XML. Alright, so basically nothing, there was no action now from the extension. But we created the extension already, so what's going on? The thing is that we need to add this extension to the Genesis exe config. Okay, we need to say that please use this extension. So we go to the config file of the Genesis executable, and I have already added here the reference to my extension, which is here. Okay, so that's where my extension is now, and that's all what you need to do. So you can have your own extensions there. You can switch them on and off just by modifying the config file. So I save this. Now, as you all remember, to be able to run this again, I will remove this from here, and then let's run it again. So now what will happen? It will say that, hey, I found some extensions to this project. Are you sure you want to use them? Let's see. This typing is taking some time from this demonstration. So now, when I started this, you can see that, hey, Valo extensions in use. Okay, so now we know that we are going to get our code run. So I press yes, that was the intention. So now, the same process, it's asking again, like, are you going to use the same site collection? I am. So we go forward. Let's go a little bit down. It will also say that the list was using existing list. So now, check this out. Using Valo extension, list provisioned.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Valo extension, change the list title from extension. That was what we were logging. And so now if we go and we check here the list, we refresh the site content. And here is our modified from extension.
Nice. Looking good.
Yeah. So this is the way. And you can modify to the workspace creator, you can modify the genesis, so it will give a lot of possibilities. I've seen already how the partners are doing their own extensions, and this will be really like time saving for the future.
Yeah. They are already making intranets with Valo that don't look like Valo at all.
Yeah.
But they look really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I just showed was that you can get into the code. You can also create your own custom extension tags. Like now we used to have like lists, custom actions, pages, sites. So you can create your own. So in our documentation, we also have very detailed how to do that. So in this case, in this sample, we are creating our own tag called settings. So you can do whatever actions you want for that.
Yeah, and I guess the cool thing is if you follow these instructions and do it like the right way, you will also ensure that the customer will get our updates, what we call the fresh subscription, so they will get the Valo updates installed correctly without any trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
So most customers nowadays, when they purchase Valo, they take the fresh subscription, which means that they have the access to the future releases. Yeah. So that's why it's important.
Yeah. So so you can have your own XML. There is a deep sample how to use then your own tags in the code. I'm not going now too deep with that, but just show you already how easy it is. And also here is detailed what we just did, that you need to build the component, you need to copy the file, and you need to edit the config that the console application triggers to that extension. Here is more detailed information about that. Then we got this logging part. I also showed about that you can add your own logging there. There are some categories, which level you want to log. And also here there is some samples if when you are running your extension code. Of course, my sample was so simple they changed the title, but you might have more logic in your extension, so you need debugging. So we have here also detailed information how you can debug your own custom extension when you are running the Genesis code. And this is something I also mentioned in Schema file when editing templates. It's very important if you want to get the intelligence with your to your Visual Studio when you are editing the XML. Always remember to add this Genesis XSD file next to your custom XML.
Okay, there's also a question online. Maybe we should take it now.
Yeah.
So the question is, when you said some partners are creating 80 groups for each workspace, but isn't workspace creator on demand? Therefore, how is the code extension being executed, being on the console and nowhere on the server? not sure if I understood the question.
So I think you just gave a sample that. Okay,
Yeah, I gave an example because I remember that in some project they created new 80 groups every time a new workspace was created, and the 80 group got the title from the workspace title or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the logic that they did, but no,
But
I
I think
can't remember.
yeah, but it doesn't matter where the code is running. Anyways, it will be like remote provisioning. So the code doesn't have to run in the server. It might be that in this sample it was like Azure AD, and they always created a new Azure AD group with that code.
Okay, and Henrik is actually commenting. I think he also had a role in one of those projects.
Okay.
So he's saying that the workspace creator is different than Genesis execution because the workspace creator is running from the server.
Yeah, but everything is running either in the desktop or in the server. Both are using the same technique, which is remote provisioning. So anyways, you need to have an API to create these other functions. Yeah, and one minor but very important part.
There's an additional question related to this. Maybe the question is more around, can we also run those execution form the workspace creator job running in Azure?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So let's check these samples here. Like I said, what you only need to do is to copy that file and make that change in the config file. It doesn't matter if you're running it locally like I am, or in Azure web job, or even in the Azure website, which is creating the subsites and custom lists.
Yeah.
So you just need to add these two things next to the engine.
Yeah, and if we misunderstood the questions, don't worry, because there's also the new Yammer network where we can continue discussing, and that's one place. Or you can obviously send us email, and we can then share the answer with everybody. So.
Yeah, but anyways, compile the DLLs, and it will be good to go. And yeah, any more questions around this topic?
Are we done with walking through?
Well, I will just say that now when you are saving your customization to a version in control, TFS, Git, whatever, now you just need to use this. If whatever you want to do, at least use this custom. Save that somewhere, because there is your customizations. All the rest here is just partner pack stuff, which will be, there is no need to save that. The most important is that custom folder. All right, great.
Okay, let's just wrap this up with a summary. Unless you had something else.
No, that's it.
In mind. Okay.
Unless there is any questions.
Just summary. So, yeah, this is what we talked about, the different levels of expertise, and today we had a closer look at the platinum level, which is the like programmatic extension of Valo Intranet, and we also discussed a little bit the other parts here, the branding and the information architecture, and we showed you also how to find your way in the partner portal and how to find these instructions there. So I suggest let's just stay on